Before LinkedIn, I was working for free, just gaining experience, only content and startups, and my CGPA was around 7.5 and something. Freelancers who are making lakhs of money.
Hey everyone, welcome back to 𝗙𝙤𝙡𝙡. I hope you guys are doing good and staying safe. So in today's podcast, I'm going to have a very important discussion with a non-CS background second year student. And why this discussion is going to be important for you, because he is making somewhere around 30 to 35k per month just because of the content writing. And that's why these things becomes really important to know for the aspiring students who are in their first year, second year, and even third year, fourth years. Like during your college time, along with your studies, how can you make money side by side as well? So this guy will share all his experience, that how did he start, what is content writing part, how is getting the clients, and how is he able to maintain the CGPA part along with these kind of studies, what kind of platform he is using, how much money he is making, how is he focusing on the studies part, his thought about the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 college students, and how is he preparing for the placement drive. So this sort of discussion will be really helpful for you, I'm pretty sure. And after watching this video, if you like it, then don't forget to give a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, then do subscribe and press the notification icon for this kind of wonderful podcast sessions. And I would like to thank Crio.Do for sponsoring this video. Crio.Do is kind of platform which believes in learning by doing. So if you are someone who want to crack good and amazing product based companies, and you feel that you are not good at the project development side, and you are lacking in the latest technical skills, whether it is about the backend development, full stack development, front end development, and if you want to learn these kind of top notch and most popular skill sets related to the software engineering side, then this is the go-to platform for you. So do check out this Crio.Do platform, and if you will use the link which is in the description, you will get the amazing discount along with the scholarship. As soon as you will click on the link which is in the description, you will be landed on this home screen where you can see some important things will be provided to you free of cost, like the product-based company interviews, free guide for best resumes, and one coupon code will be unlocked which you can use to get the extra 10% off, including 30% scholarship. And using this promo code, you can enroll yourself in their amazing programs, which is actually dedicated towards the highly demanding profiles, full stack developer and the backend developer. You can see all the details here, like the duration of the programs, what kind of tech stack you will be learning. And the best thing is that you will be creating the projects which are actually the real world use cases and equivalent to those projects which you get a chance to work during your internships. So those practical projects will give you amazing learnings, first of all. And second thing is that you can mention these projects in your profile, which will help you to stand out from the crowd, and it will seek the attention of good product-based company recruiters. And they also have that amazing programs like fellowship program in software development, free trial available, and extensive hours of training during this program, assured scholarship after the trial if you are able to prove yourself, and very important, placement guarantee. So this kind of benefits you will be getting from this program. So now let's quickly jump on to our podcast part. Thank you so much, Aniket, for joining this podcast. And I hope most of the people who are watching this video, at least few of them might be knowing you on the LinkedIn, because you are actively posting content there. But still, like, why don't you introduce yourself to my audience, and what are you doing in present?
Yeah. So first of all, thanks a lot, Shashank, for inviting me. And secondly, the thing is, like, I'm second year guy studying at NIT Delhi, right? I am interested in tech, content writing, startups, of course. So I'm currently signed under 2 startups and working as a freelancer in the field of content creation, right? And secondly, I also post a lot on LinkedIn about startups, spread awareness about that. Yeah, that's the areas of where I actually love to speak and I love to write content.
So, like, how did you find a way to make money in the second year itself?
So actually it all started in first year. I was working with few startups, but they were not the paid ones. I was working for free because I had no experience. So I started working with them and then got how things work here, right? And suddenly I got acquainted with everything. Then I started charging for it. I started with a very low fees of like 350 per article, 500 per article. Now I even charge 1,000, 1,500 per article. So it started from free. Then I started actually charging for that. And I mean, LinkedIn helped a lot. LinkedIn helped me in getting exposure. Many clients approached me through LinkedIn. So I'm thankful for that.
Okay, so you mean to say the actual earning part or the actual journey into this field, it started from the LinkedIn?
Actually, I started earning when I got on LinkedIn. Before LinkedIn, I was working for free, just gaining experience, so that, of course, if you're working for money, you should provide some good value, right? A client should get some value from you. And without experience, I don't think you can provide much of a value for that.
Okay, so next question for you, Aniket. Like, don't you think that these kind of activities will impact your studies, CGP, and placements? Because you are in second year, and this is the crucial time when like most of the aspiring students started focusing on their studies, maintaining CGPA, preparing for placements. Or you think it will add some value for good opportunities?
So actually, because of LinkedIn, I got connected with some amazing people who are working at top companies. Like for example, even like you are a data engineer at Amazon, right? That's a totally new field for me, data. Like we all are studying DSA, competitive programming, but yeah, there is a specific domain of data as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got a lot of exposure from the people who are working at some good companies, and they helped me a lot. Right now, I'm trying to focus. For example, my whole first year was gone in only content. Right, only content and startups, and my CGPA was around 7.5 and something. For me, online classes helped a lot. When I joined college, I don't have to go 9 to 5 in college, then come to home, then do my assignments and then study. So I got a lot of free time in between classes. Sometimes professors even cancelled some classes, so I was working on content. So yeah, I got almost 24 hours for me only. Online studies helped a lot to manage my time. But when colleges get offline and we start going to college again, so yeah, it will be tough for me to maintain everything. So that's why I'm putting a back foot on content. Okay, that is also putting me a back foot in the financial basis as well. I'm losing some thousands of rupees, but I guess it is worth it because yeah, college life has some importance as well, right?
Correct.
So, yeah.
In your stage, what are different options for college students to make money, right? Obviously, to start something, you would have done some sort of research, right? Okay, this is the thing which I can opt, I can make money from it. So based on your experiences, like what did you find? What are the different options which students can look for?
Recently, 𝗷𝙗𝙗𝗀𝙗𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, he's a great guy. He said that content and code is the future.
Yes.
And I truly believe in that. If you are a student, if you only focus on content and code, you can actually make wonders. Because even if you are starting if you are starting a company of your own, you just need two things: content and code. You need application, website, anything, and you just need some content. Content should be around business idea, how they should attract customers. So yeah, content and code are one of the two core things from where students can earn. Freelancing in the term of web development, app development, and in content it is like content writing, content creation. Some people even do video creation as well. So yeah, I mean, they can earn good money from that.
What sort of income we can expect if we are doing freelancing or involved in the content writing? So on an average, what amount in a month we can expect? Like, I just want to know the reality, because on the other platforms, or let's say on the like LinkedIn post or the YouTube videos, people used to commit some like random amount, right? So I just want to know the reality from you.
When you start, don't expect to make money in 5 figures also. You will earn in 4 figures when you start, because you have no experience. Clients will not pay you very huge amounts. But after 2 to 3 months, you can increase your charges, and you can even increase your bandwidth. So yeah, you can expect an earning of 25 to 30K if you are in your initial stages and you have decent experience, not good one. But I have also met freelancers who are making lakhs of money. But let me tell you one thing, they are on top of their game. If you're talking about graphic designing, they are top 10 of the people in the world. So yeah, they are making lakhs of rupees. But yeah, if you're a student who is just doing for part-time, or you can say just hanging with studies as well. So I guess you should be able to make 25 to 50K in between this. For example, me, I can make actually 6 figures as well, easily, if I say yes to every client. But I have to manage studies as well, and I have to do coding, college studies, CGPA maintain bhi karni hai. So yeah, that's why I stop myself from saying yes to every client and get decent amount of money at the end.
You are using LinkedIn pretty well, because I have seen your content, the way you write or the way you engage with your audience. So what are your learnings so far from LinkedIn, and what would you suggest to other students about the LinkedIn usage?
People usually thought that LinkedIn is just a job search platform. You have to just search jobs, and yeah, that's all. That's the purpose of LinkedIn. But recently, when LinkedIn introduced creator mode, people just thought, what the hell is creator mode? They actually need content on their platform, because people won't come again and again if they are not addicted to it. To make them addicted, we have to introduce content. Similarly, as Instagram introduced Reels, TikTok is a huge example how content can addict people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what LinkedIn is using as well. LinkedIn also need content creators. They push content creators more and more so that people all should come on the platform. Secondly, when it comes to content creation, I guess that's one of the greatest part because you get instant results. For example, I posted something and people will like it, people will give feedback or even criticize me sometimes because yeah, this is totally wrong. And you can learn from them. That's my mistake, right? So I can improve it next time. So yeah, that's a great thing because it actually accelerates your growth and accelerates your exposure as well.
Let's say there are 10 students, there will be at least 2 or 3 who will basically doing this content creation part, but out of 10 there will be 6-7 folks who are actually want to use it to find the internships, job opportunities, and for the referrals and many other things. So how would you suggest them to use it?
So actually coming to the referral part, I also joined LinkedIn because some seniors told me that you can easily get referrals, and so yeah, that's the best platform for you. So I came to know later that most of the people won't reply because they have hundreds of messages in their DMs. So you need to get some exposure as well. That's why I started creating content, and the people who actually don't look at some messages started texting me on their own, right? So yeah, that was a great thing. But coming to the point that people who don't actually post content should interact in comments at least. They should have some visibility with the person they are willing to talk. For example, you have some dream company in your mind, like any of the fan companies, right? You can interact with their employees through comments, like their post, and sometimes give your input as well. So yeah, they might remember you, and when you ask for referrals, they will open your message and look at your resume. At least they will look at your resume.
When you started writing on LinkedIn, how did you get the clients? Like, were they approaching to you, or someone suggested you that hey, if you are doing a content writing, you can reach out these clients, or via this platform you can connect with the clients, and you can ask them for the opportunities of content writing. So how did this happen?
Yeah, I started in December. Actually, my content spoke for itself, to be honest. When you post every day, you get thousands of views. People like your post, and when you post some really good stuff, it catches eyes, right? People actually get hooked to your content, and most of the opportunities I get is from, like, most of the clients approach me and they're like, this is the job. Are you available for it?
Okay.
And I have rarely I've never approached any client, to be honest, because that will take some of my time, and it's really tough. Like, you have to do cold emailing every day. You have to keep up with clients, like, are you giving me the job or not? And so yeah, that was tough for me. So I basically rely on the clients which I get from LinkedIn directly, who have watched my content, because they also have trust on me, because they have read my content already. So they are like, yeah, he will do great things. And when you have a personal brand on LinkedIn, you easily get clients. People get attracted to your profile easily. You will get more number of views, and hence you will get more number of clients. That's logical. Yeah.
So that was a good point, Aniket. So moving forward, how do you manage your time for these things actually, right? Because time management thing also is a very, very important part when, apart from studies, you are involved in the other things. Okay. So, like, how do you manage all these things together? Because you have to give some priority to your studies as well.
Yeah, so whenever I wake up, I just write 3 tasks I have to done today. The 3 do or die tasks. For example, the number 1 is always data structure and algorithms, because they are necessary for placements, and I also actually love solving problems. Number 2 is related to my LinkedIn content, but I have to post क्या जाएगा आज. And the number 3 is related to clients, कि मुझे आज कितने पोस्ट बनाने हैं clients के लिए, क्या क्या पोस्ट रहते हैं. So yeah, these 3 tasks I have to do or die, and the rest of the time I complete my task before 4 to 5 p.m. And after that, you can spend time with your family. If you have relationship, you can spend your time with your loved ones, and whatever the case is, right? Just try to complete your task before 5 to 6 p.m. After that, you can watch Netflix, surf YouTube, surf Instagram, whatever you want. But yeah, that's how I work. I do most of my tasks early.
I also know that part, that you are from a non-CS background, right? Your stream is not the computer science or the IT. So what are you planning for next 2 years of your college? I mean, your dream is to move into the CS or software development and crack good companies, something like that, or anything else?
Actually, in India, EC, for example, my branch is electronics and communication. There are very less companies in this domain. Semiconductor companies are like 2 or 3 major companies. Even in instruments, there are like 2 companies only: National Instruments and Texas Instruments.
Yeah.
So there are very less companies for EC background. Now, thanks to God, by the way, CS and EC have equal importance. Companies give equal priority to both of them. They allow circuital branches and CSC most of the times. And on campus, we have only 3 branches in our college, so that won't be an issue.
Okay.
Most of the companies allow every branch to participate. In off campus as well, and EC students are actually taught programming, data structure and algorithms, computer networks, and you can say one more, system design as well, right?
Okay.
So these 3 or 4 things are already taught by college, and left ones are like OS, operating system, DBMS. You can take it as electives. Now new education policy also prefers that you can take subjects of other branches. So try to take subjects which are helpful in placements, right?
Okay.
Take the subjects from CSA. So yeah, that's how you can actually manage everything. But my most of the time will go in placements only next 2 to 3 years, because of course having a job is a great thing. Even if you want to do a startup, you can do it side by side. You want to do content creation, you can do it side by side. But having a job should be is a great thing, right?
So Aniket, I will wrap up this session with one last question. I know that's a debated topic, but I definitely would like to hear from you that being a student, what is your opinion on that? So what's your thought on the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 college categorization? Again, I said it's a topic of debate, but let's say if you couldn't have made into the top tier colleges, like after doing your 10+2, then what would you have done?
Okay, that's a tough question.
Yeah.
So tier 1 guys have an advantage. No issues with that. Tier 1, tier 2 have decent advantage over tier 3. But I won't say that every tier 1 guy will get placed in a good company. I have seen people from IITs trying to do jobs which should not be, you can say, on the standards of tier 1. But I have seen them doing that. Now, coming to the part that tier 3 students feel that they are like not on par with tier 1 guys, and I have seen most of them doing this. But there's one thing, like in off campus, most of the companies don't care about your college tag. And I have learned it from seniors, and some of my really good friends who are from tier 3 have got in some companies like Amazon, Google, and even the top companies like you can say Uber, right? I've seen them getting into those companies. But yeah, there are always exceptions, right? There are tier 1 guys who don't get placed in good companies, but there are guys in tier 3 who get placed in top companies, even abroad, right? So I guess you should focus more on learning, because what have been done is done, right? You should forget it and now focus on the future. Learn more about tech part, because in JEE most of the syllabus is based on physics, chemistry, and maths. That is not relevant when it comes to coding jobs, placements, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you have an equal chance as of tier 1 guys in terms of placements, in terms of placement preparation. So you should focus more on preparation, and you will get good offers, I guess so. Yeah.
So that was really nice, Aniket. I would say the insights which you have shared with me and with my audience, I hope at least it would help the aspiring students who are in the first year and second year of their colleges, and they can learn from you that how well we can utilize our time in the college itself, and we can do the earnings, and we can even prepare for the studies, or we can even prepare for the placements in parallel. So those were some really insightful points. So from my side and my audience side, thank you very, very much for joining this podcast.
Thanks a lot everyone for listening me, and yeah, have a great day. Bye.
So that was all about in this video, guys. I hope you would have enjoyed this entire conversation with Aniket. If you did, then don't forget to give a like and share this video with your fellow friends who are in the colleges and trying to make money side by side. And if you're new to the channel, then do subscribe, press the notification icon. I will see you guys in the next weekend with another amazing podcast. Till then, just stay safe, stay home, take care of yourself and your family too.